Welcome all to Cricknalysis. In our today's video, we'll be talking about the historic day 6 of the ultimate test match. Yes, finally after 144 years, we have our first world test champions, New Zealand. They truly have deserved this title. But at the same time, we have to acknowledge the efforts of the Indian team throughout the 2-year-long championship. There is a lot to discuss about the day 6. As it wasn't just an ordinary day of an ordinary test match. It was the deciding day of a historic test match. It decided our first ever world test champion. So let us have a very clear and deep analysis of this day. What went wrong for India? How did the Kiwis ensure that they win easily? What was the strategy of Kane Williamson? How did Kohli go a bit wrong in his captaincy moves? And how did finally Kiwis win the title? Let us start from the start.
So before day 6 started, each expert, analyst and fan were thinking that what would India do on this last day, the reserve day? What would their approach be? Will they go for a draw or will they go for a win? How will Pujara play? Will he be defensive or be aggressive? How will Kohli start the innings? So when the day started, Kane Williamson, a brilliant captain, started with his top bowlers, Kyle Jamieson and Tim Southee. The intent was clear of the Indian batsmen, as we could see that they had to score runs quickly, find gaps, hit boundaries, take quick singles and doubles to put a big total on the board. But the problem was that they couldn't. The New Zealand bowling lineup and their fielding were just too good. The bowlers were getting perfect lines and lengths. The fielders were saving runs every ball, every time. And this led, I feel, to the rise of uncertainty in the batsman's mind. And this was the reason of Kohli's wicket. The shot to which he got out was not a complete cut nor a pure defense, and that led to a slight edge and the ball landed safely in BJ Watling's gloves. And now Kohli got out. Pujara was in bewilderment. He had a big choice to make, whether to go for a draw or score runs, be defensive, let the other batsman score runs at the other end. And this uncertainty led to his wicket too. The ball bowled by Jamieson, he was uncertain. He was confused whether to defend it, drive it or just leave it, and that led to his wicket.
Moving on from Pujara and Virat Kohli's wicket, let us move on to a partnership that could have proved very important for the Indian team. Rishabh Pant and Ajinkya Rahane. Rishabh Pant from the start was looking very eager to score runs at a quick pace because he was aware that if he scores with his natural gameplay, natural stroke play, he can take India to a big lead quickly and gives enough time to the pace try of India, Shami, Bumrah, Nishant, to get the Kiwis out as soon as possible. Now in all of this, all Rahane had to do was just support the young man. But Rahane, whereas, just got out to an unlucky shot. Bowled a really leg side delivery, to which Rahane just brushed the ball with his gloves and that took his wicket.
So now Rahane got out and Jadeja walked in. Jadeja and Pant, as we talked in our first video, are a perfect pair for India. They have the ability to add valuable runs at the end, increase the lead and put a big total on the board. And now Pant, as we could see, that he wanted to get runs as quickly as possible, and Jadeja's job here was to support him at the other end. So when session 1 ended, everybody was expecting Jadeja to support Pant and Pant to hit big shots. And now Kane Williamson started with his left armour Neil Wagner. Neil Wagner was coming round the wicket to both the lefties, bowling short balls on their ribs and sometimes outside the leg stump too. Now whereas Pant was going for unorthodox shots, the reverse flick, the scoop or the hook shot, Jadeja was just defending the balls. He was just pushing it towards short leg or the square. Yes, the leg side field was great. Kane Williamson had put a fine leg, a square leg, a deep square leg, a fielder between fine leg and deep square leg and a short leg. So we are not saying that Jadeja should have taken risks, but got some quick singles or doubles because that would put the pressure on Neil Wagner. And now because there were continuous maidens and dot balls, Neil Wagner was high in confidence. He changed his line and length and got the wicket of Jadeja. And now India were in a very bad position.
Moving on from Jadeja's wicket, came into bat Ravichandran Ashwin, the hard-hitting all-rounder of India who's known to bat in such hard conditions. For example, he did back in Sydney with Hanuma Vihari. Rishabh Pant was still out there. getting singles, getting fours, moving the lead from 110 to 120 and so on. Now all Ashwin and Pant here had to do was first ensure a minimum lead of above 150. I know we've talked about getting a lead of about 200 to 20 many times, but many analysts and experts such as Shane Bourne or VVS Lakshman in the pre-match presentation clearly stated anything above 150 would be just fine for India to defend. So first, Ashwin and Pant should have ensured a 150 lead. I know it's easy to say and tough to do, but that should have been the strategy from the start. Now there were two ways of doing this. One was to simply defend the ball, play on the loose balls, take singles, take runs from extras, use the balls coming in way off and just getting runs off there instead of leaving them. And the other way was racing towards that mark. Something that Pant just loves. Going forward, hitting sixers, that reverse flick which he tried, failed, so he wanted to do it again. All these shots would have taken them to 160 in quick 10-15 overs max to max. Rishabh Pant went for the latter strategy, to which he got out. He came on to the crease, wanted to go for a big sixer, got an edge, and that brilliant catch by Henry Nicholls. That was just a brilliant running catch. After that, only one ball later, the second ball, Ashwin got a really tempting ball from 10 ball. A perfect setup. At that time, Ashwin knew he has to bat with the tail, and the tail wouldn't last for more than 8 overs max to max, even if Ashwin bats most of those 8 overs. So he knew that he has very less time to play now. No matter how many overs are left, there are only certain overs left because the tail of India is the weakest tail. One of the weakest tails we can say, and with the batting lineup that India has, compared to that it is very, very weak. So Ashwin knew that now he has to score runs quick. 150 he has to get somehow or the other, which India missed by 11 runs unfortunately. So Ashwin got a really tempting ball on the outside. This was an ideal ball to leave. Someone like Pujara or Kohli would have left it easily. Even a Rahane would have been tempted by the ball, even though Rahane got tempted by a left side ball. Still he would have left that one because it was a setup. We could see that Ashwin went for the shot, an aggressive cover drive which would have fetched him 4 runs easily if he had connected it, but got a thick edge, went to the slip and got out. That was just brilliant by Trent Boult there. A brilliant bowling move, his experience coming into play. That was a nice wicket.
And now Ashwin and Pant got out. There was no batting left for India, and as Viraj stated earlier that India still is one of the weakest of this ICC whole World Test Championship. Ishant Sharma, Mohammad Shami and Jasprit Bumrah, they have no sense of batting. In the first innings also, they did not add more than 10 runs I guess. Only Ishant Sharma hung in there for some while. Bumrah got out, Shami scored a 4, but Bumrah got out very early. So this game also, Ishant Sharma was struggling to score runs, stay there. Shami got 3 fours thankfully, and the third 4 he got of Tim Southee was an edge. He was going for the 6, the big 6, and got an edge, and the ball went above the slip cordon and for a 4. Next ball, this was brilliant captaincy from Kane Williamson. He placed a fielder right there. Tom Latham went there, unorthodox fielding position, and the next ball, the ball came exactly there in his hands. Tom Latham didn't even move. The ball came exactly in his hands, and Mohammad Shami got out. Then came Bumrah. He lasted for only 1 or 2 balls, and the innings ended. Now New Zealand had to just chase 139 in 53 overs.
Moving on to the last innings of this ultimate test match, New Zealand's second innings. New Zealand had to get 139 runs in 53 overs. India had Shami, Ishant, Bumrah, Jadeja and Ashwin, whereas New Zealand had Conway, Latham, Ross Taylor, Williamson, Nicholls, BJ Watling playing his last test match, CDG, and most importantly the last 2 aggressive batsmen who were very important to this side, Tim Southee and Kyle Jamieson. So now before we discuss their innings, what went wrong, what went right, what did they do, what we could have changed in the plan, let us discuss what India should or could have done to win this test match, what they could have done in their last bowling innings. So what an ideal situation would have been was, or what the strategy could have been was, to get 3 wickets, the top 3, Conway, Latham, Williamson. Most importantly, Williamson here because he is the Virat Kohli and the number 1 batsman right now in this world. He is their main batsman right there. So if these 3 had gotten out before the 50-run mark and about 23 overs had gotten over, because that's how much you take in the first 1 or 2 hours. So if that was done there, what the situation would have looked like was 23 overs, 50 for 3. So 30 overs left, you need 89 runs to win, 7 wickets to go, out of which you can say 5 wickets to go because Wagner and Boult aren't that good batsmen, though Southee and Jamieson are brilliant. So Watling, Nichols, CDG, this thin middle order would have been exposed here. Taylor's amazing at 2 down, number 4. We can say that. He would have stayed there, Kane Williamson in the first innings. But that Nichols, Watling and CDG, I feel that the rhythm in which they were against the rhythm in which Shami, Bumrah and Ishant were, they could have gotten out quickly. Max to max, they would have played 11-12 overs together, I'm saying. So the more threat here for India was Tim Southee and Jamieson. Because I feel 21 by Jamieson and 30 by Southee in the first inning gave them 51 runs. That is more than twice of what the tail for India added in both the innings. Those 51 runs, I feel changed the match because A, that gave them a 32-run lead and extra 19 runs to that. So if India had a 51-run lead, the target would eventually have been 190, which would have been perfect because if we see 51 more, you can then imagine after watching the match. So that would have been an ideal situation, 50 for 3, and then Shami was at the top of his mark. Ashwin was brilliant with the lefties. More lefties to come after that. Ashwin could have gotten 2 wickets right there. So that would have given India a bit hope then. Though still, if Nicol strikes the way he does, Watling is known to bat in hard situations. He doesn't like to get those easy runs, and plus it's his last match, he would have given it all. So, and CDG likes to hit hard, so we never know what could have happened. But this was, the first thing would have been 3 wickets in the first 50 overs, at least 20 overs done. So that did not happen, and later let's discuss what actually happened.
So this was the hypothetical situation. Now let's talk about what actually happened. Virat Kohli started with Mohammad Shami and Ishant Sharma. Ishant Sharma wasn't in his rhythm. He was tired, he was struggling to get good balls, good lengths and lines. He was not getting wickets. And when the first wicket, when Latham got out, Ashwin took Latham. Ashwin, as we know him, he's great against left-handers. When Latham got out, India thought that okay, now 1 wicket has gone, we'll take Williamson now, Conway, then the whole middle order, and then Ashwin took Conway also. Then the hopes were raising for the Indian fans. The players were thinking, okay, now we'll do it. But then Ashwin just got out. He was not bowling after he took the wicket of Conway. Taylor and Williamson are just great batsmen, and someone like Mohammad Shami was needed there to take their wickets. Kohli chose Jadeja and Bumrah to Williamson and Taylor. He was not getting Ashwin in, Shami in to bowl and get their wickets.
From there, what the strategy of Virat Kohli, which we later got to know after the 43rd over, was give Shami the last 10 overs. It is a perfect strategy because Shami at the end with those bouncers, that perfect seam, that form he was in, last 10 overs he would have put great pressure on the Kiwis. It would have been a completely entertaining match and he could have gotten 2 or 3 wickets there easily. But before that, now more important part comes before the last 10 overs, where India had to give something to Shami to defend. If Shami has something to defend for, then only he'll bowl. If he has 9 runs to defend in the last 10 overs, top 3 bowlers in this world can also not do that against that batting lineup, or any batting lineup for that case. Any batting lineup. So Shami had 14 runs to defend in the last 10. That's where India lost the game, because 14 runs in 10 overs, Williams and Taylor playing, Watling to come, no chance, no way for India. Before that, Jadeja and Bumrah bowled a really long spell. Now, why did Kohli not bring Ashwin? Because he's not that effective against the right-handers. We know that. But still, why not bring him? Ashwin's still a bowler. It's not that he only bowls with the left-handers. He was quite economical against the right-handers in the Australian series. So why not get him once or twice? He did not get him at all. No bowling change at all. No experimenting with the bowlers. Not at all. Jadeja kept bowling at that line. Then Bumrah. It was a very unlucky day for Bumrah. He was bowling great. His last spell was absolutely masterclass from him. But we could say that it was unlucky because each ball kept just nicking off the bat, not actually getting an edge just right next to it. And Pujara dropped a catch. Then every new ball that Bumrah tried to bowl, every variety I'm saying, he got a 4 for it. So all that wasn't going in his favour. Over here, Ishant Sharma or Shami in that case could have been brought in a bit earlier. Why not change the strategy a bit, Kohli? So if that was done, the result would have been really, really different. But still, hats off to the New Zealand team, hats off to the Indian team. Those 2 years were just amazing. New Zealand truly deserved this after what happened in the 2019 World Cup final, 2015 final. It was just amazing. And at the same time, India did their best, though a bit changes in fielding, batting and bowling will be just great. So let us see what India has to offer in the England series in August. Thank you for watching. Like, share and subscribe this video if you liked our video.